before you leave the house. Get up on God and wilderness survival skills with Loftus.
Wilderness must be explored! Caw, caw! Rawr!
Lesson 1. God is a waymaker.
I'm so bored. Nothing to do. I'm so bored.
First, choose your destination.
Loftus, go outside.
Okay.
Second, don't give up.
Yep. Alright, no. Oh, no.
Loftus, I think it's locked.
Finally, bring a friend.
You want to come with me?
Sure.
Hello, fish friends. Welcome to the first night of Wilderness Explorer Camp. We are so excited to have you. This wilderness must be explored.
Caw, caw, rawr.
Tonight we're working on the Wilderness Explorer badge for science. I will be your Wilderness Explorer guide. My name is Tara. This is my assistant, Anna. But first, before we get to our experiment, we're just going to do a little recap of the first night Waymaker. So our Bible truth for day 1 is that God makes a way for us even when we can't see it. So if you guys remember the story that God told Moses to go to Pharaoh and tell him to let my people go. And Pharaoh said no 10 times. 10. Eventually he decided to go ahead and let them go. Unfortunately, after the Israelites started traveling, Pharaoh changed his mind and decided to send this big army after them. There were a lot of Israelites traveling with their families and their animals. By the time they got to the Red Sea, they felt trapped. The Red Sea was in front of them, and this huge army was behind them. What could they do? They were scared, they were frightened. To be quite frank, they wanted to turn around and just go back to Egypt. But God had a way for them. He instructed Moses to raise his arms. Moses obeyed, and when he did, the Red Sea just parted. There was this big dry path for them to just walk straight through. All the Israelite people, their families, and their animals were safely able to walk to the other side. When our wilderness seems frightening, when our wilderness seems new or different, remember that God makes a way for us as well, just like he parted the waters of the Red Sea. And just like Mr. Fredrickson in the movie Up made a way by putting balloons on the top of his house so that he could fly to South America. All right, so you guys are a step away from getting your Wilderness Explorer badge in science. Let's go take a look at all of our supplies. Come on. Fish friends, it's time to check out our camp box, our science camp box, and see what our supplies are. Come on. All right, so we've got our box, and there is a bag of baking soda, and we've got some tubes of liquid, some balloons, and something called parafilm. All right. Now, kiddos, before we get going, I need you to go grab a couple of supplies that should be available around your house. I need you to go get a cup. Doesn't need, not a really tall one, a relatively short cup, a pair of scissors, a 1 teaspoon measuring spoon, and a funnel. If you don't have a funnel, grab some paper. We'll make do without a funnel. But if you can hit pause and go get those 4 things and then come back and join me. All right, so here we are with our supplies. Now I went and got myself a little jelly jar. And here is this tube, and it's got this plastic over it. That's the parafilm. We put it on there so that it wouldn't leak in the box on the way to you guys. So I'm taking it off. Now I'm curious as to what this is. Kids, you never ever stick your nose into a tube. What you do instead is you hold it in front of you and use your hands to move the scent to your nose. And then you can guess what it is based on the scent. Any of you guys know what it is? Can you guess? What do you think it is, Anna?
Well, it looks like water.
It does look like water. I think it smells like vinegar. All right, so I'm going to set my tube into that jar just to give it a place to sit for right now. And I am going to get my 1 teaspoon measuring spoon and my funnel, and I'm going to open my baggie of baking soda. Kiddos, try not to make a mess, although I get that sometimes happens. I'm going to put my funnel into the balloon opening, and I'm going to scoop 1 teaspoon of the baking soda into the funnel, and I'm going to let it drop into the balloon. And if we don't have a funnel, here is how you guys can make one. You would just put the baking soda onto a piece of paper. And then you would just roll up the paper into a funnel itself. I did that wrong, kids. Probably shouldn't have done that way. I'm going to make this funnel first. Look at me, I'm making a mess. I told you guys not to, and I'm making a mess. You know what? We're going to do this a little bit differently. We are just going to fold the paper. Make a good crease in the paper. And then I am going to hold it and pour the baking soda into the balloon. So this way's a little bit messier, so if you guys have a funnel, that would be the best. All right, now I took the funnel out of the balloon, and I am going to put the balloon onto the tube. Kind of try to get it so that it comes over the tube by, just a little bit there. Now the scissors, I'm going to have you cut about 1/2 of a square of the parafilm. There's a paper backing, and take that off, give it a little stretch. And then you're going to lay it on top of the balloon, overlapping the balloon and the tube. And then you're going to wrap the parafilm around the balloon. Alrighty. Now, here's the fun part. You can bring up the balloon and let that baking soda fall into your tube of liquid. Oh my gosh, can you hear that, you guys? Look at that! What is that? Wow! So when we mixed the baking soda from the balloon into the vinegar, we created a chemical reaction that made air, and the air blew up our balloon. Wow, that's pretty cool. We had to use the parafilm to seal that, otherwise it's very possible the balloon would have popped off before we were ready. You guys can compare this with your balloons. You guys can compare this with your balloons that you got on your camp box. You could let it sit and see how long it takes to deflate. We added some extra supplies in the box, and you guys can do this again on your own using more or less baking soda if you'd like. All right. Guys, you did it. You got your Wilderness Explorer Science Badge. Congratulations! Woo! Where did I put my badge? Already? Oh my goodness. Here it is. Your science badge. All right, pin it on with pride, kids. Oh, sorry about the barking, guys. That's just Alpha and Doug making a ruckus here. All right, guys, remember our Bible verse, Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Good night, kids.